Well, hey crafty friends, it's Hiedi Scott with DIY and I am I know that I say this all the time, but I'm so excited about this craft project. So I'm going to show you how to make some little eyeglass cases or pouches. They could be for reading glasses, sunglasses, any kind of glasses you like. They're going to be this style, and we are going to use felt. This was my prototype, but it's a little different now. We're going to use felt in two colors, an outside color and an inside color. We're going to use some ink and some all over pattern stencils. We're going to make little flowers. Oh my gosh, they're going to be absolutely adorable and really practically free. I'm also going to talk to you a little bit about felt and why the quality of it is important. So let's hop right in. Around maybe 5 years ago, I made the absolute cutest eyeglass cases that had three little not rolled rosettes, little like loopy flowers on them out of felt that I had picked up, at Target in the dollar spot at the front of the store. This was like 5 years ago. It's not available anymore. I'm very sorry. Anyways, it was, they were placemats and table runner. And there was green, and then there was this pink and blue plaid. So I made it out of that. I'm still looking for those. We're not going to use this today because this is not available anymore, and I don't want you to fall in love with it and then not be able to get it. So we're going to use just regular felt. I'm using some pink and some white. Now, felt comes a lot of different qualities, and it does make a difference. For example, this is a piece of felt that I purchased. I could use it for something, but I purchased this at Dollar Tree, and it's so thin. You could see through it. You could probably almost tear it. Then you can get felt that is like 29, 39, 69 cents a piece. And the best place to get felt really is Hobby Lobby. But if you don't have Hobby Lobby, try Walmart or possibly Michael's. You can also look on Amazon, but you want to get something that's medium to higher quality. It doesn't have to be this kind of real felt, but it needs to be something that's decently thick and sturdy. Okay, so I chose this piece. I think it came from Hobby Lobby, and it was larger, and I think it was 69 or 89 cents a piece. I'm not even using the whole piece. Okay. And then I'm using a less expensive inside piece. How did I get my pattern? That's a great question. I took this old eyeglass case and my glasses, and I just started fiddling around. This case is a little bit too short and not quite wide enough. So when I made my pattern, I made it a little bit longer and a little bit wider. And this is my pattern, which I will take a picture of it and put it in the comments. This isn't going to necessarily match your eyeglasses or sunglasses or whatever you want to make it for. So you'll have to figure that out. But mine is 7.5 inches long, 5.5 inches wide. And then it has this spot right here, which is where you can tuck the glasses in. You don't have to do that if you don't want, but I kind of like the look of it too. So my first go around with this, I used this pretty gray felt and some white felt. And I used this stencil that we're going to use again. I think it's called Flower Power, but honestly, I could have used any one of these. And these are just a few of the all-over pattern stencil designs that Magnolia has. Look how pretty that is. It's called Roses. I mean, I seriously could have used my favorite. But I wanted flowers, and I think this design is still available, and I'm pretty sure it's called Flower Power. You would find this at magnoliadiy.com. So this is what we're going to use, and this is what I used on the gray. But then I discovered that really it was too short, and I will tell you that a lot of times when I'm crafting, I will make a prototype and I will learn a lot from it. For this one, I said, what the heck? Couldn't I just use chalk paste rather than permanent ink from magnoliadiy.com? So I tried it with chalk paste. Chalk paste has a black lid, and I wish I had philo vision. It's rough, where the one that I did with ink is not. Also, then I started to think, well, what if I put like a bottle of water in my purse with this and it got moist? Is the chalk paste gonna come off? Well, that is a possibility. So I opted not to do it with chalk paste and instead to use ink. And I'm just using white ink, okay? So that's how I made my pattern. This is what I'm going to use, and I'm going to use a decent quality of felt. Okay, so I am basically just going to, I've used the stencil a lot, and take it off of my little backing. I'm not going to do this whole entire thing because we're not going to use this. We're going to use this piece that I already have ready. Whoops, and I don't want chalk paste. I want ink. Okay, and you could use any color combination. However, I will tell you that if you're using like a really super intense color, like dark purple, dark blue, black, and you're using white ink, it's not going to show up quite as good as if you use it on a less pigmented color of felt. Okay, so I am basically just going to put a blob on here. Figure out where can I put it. And I'm going to show you how this works. So I don't know if you knew that you can stencil on felt. Yes, you can. Sometimes you'll get a little bit of fiber on the back, the sticky side of your stencil, but that will come off if you just work with it in the sink just a little bit. I have a glob of something here. Okay, so this is what that looks like right now. And this is the result. So obviously I would do a much bigger piece, but for time purposes, I'm gonna just show you this small piece. And I'm gonna throw this in my tub of water over here. And find a towel. Okay, so then I let that thoroughly dry. I got my blow dryer out to help it along a little bit, and then I decided that the safest thing to do would be to heat set it, because again, if I put a bottle of water or something in my purse, I wouldn't want there to be any chance that that ink would rub off. So when my piece of felt was fully dry, this is fully dry, and it's soft. It's not crunchy like the chalk paste. Then I just put my iron on lower than cotton because I didn't want to burn it. And I got a piece of parchment paper, no steam, and I just went over it for 2 or 3 minutes, making sure that it wasn't too hot. And now it is heat set. So it's good to go. And this is where it gets really fun. Okay, so I have my pattern, which I traced on a piece of white felt to be the inside. Let's cut that out. And don't worry about getting this exactly perfect because you're going to be trimming it a little bit once you get it glued together. We're going to put this together and then we're going to make the flower. And you can put as many flowers on this as you like. And in case you're wondering, there is no sewing for this project. I am just using low temperature hot glue. And felt, when it gets hot glue on it, it gets really hot, so you still need to be careful. And I would definitely not try this project using regular hot glue. Okay, so here's my inside piece. And now, just looking to see. I have to think for just a moment. Which way is this going to go? It's going to go like this. Okay, so now I'm going to put my insert on top. Grab a couple of pins. I need a better pair of scissors because I've been cutting metal or something. So when I am all finished, I will take a photo of my pattern. But just keep in mind that it might not work for the glasses that you want to use it for. So you'll have to kind of play with that a little bit and make sure your glasses would fit inside. Okay. Hang on to that. I might be able to use it for something down the road. Okay, so then this is going to look like this, basically, once it is glued. And the next thing I want, and I'll trim it up good too. The next thing I want to do is just do a little bit of glue about where it's going to have the crease to hold it nice. And you can see I am going to have to trim up a little bit because it just does that when you fold it. So I'm going to put a teeny bit of my hot glue here. Oops. Oh no. Well, my hot glue is not hot anymore, so let's talk about the flower for a second while that heats up. This is where we're going. And it's going to be so cute on this. Okay, so let me tell you how you're going to make this. You need a strip, and I don't know how long it needs to be. It depends on how wide you want the circumference of your flower to be. But this is the outside piece, and it is 1.5 inches wide. This is the inside part of this flower. And it is just a smidge over 1 inch. All right, and then what we're going to be doing is we're going to be gluing these into a little tube once my glue is hot, and doing snips. We'll be doing that with both. This might be enough to actually do in the center, so I don't have to show you that again. But well, drats. Okay, so let me just review for a second while I'm waiting for this to get hot. This is my pattern that I used for my glasses. It's 7.5 inches long, 5.5 inches wide, and it has this little slope that makes this. Can you see this right here? You don't have to have that, but then you couldn't see the contrasting colors. You could just do a straight top, or you could even do a little flap if you want. But this is what I opted to do. And this was my first one. That was my little practice. And I determined that it was too short. And that because I used chalk paste, it's crunchy. The piece of felt that I did with ink, and I heat set it once it was dry, it is soft. So it would be comfortable to use. All right, let's see, am I getting any hotter? Yeah, not really. Basically, we're just creating a little tube. And I've done this style of flowers with all kinds of different fabrics. Felt works great. Do a this or a this. It's a heart. If you're liking this video, and feel free to sprinkle. I want the glue to be really, really nice and hot for gluing the front to the back of my little actual pouch. So this is a long tube. And you're going to cut little snips. This is where the line of glue is. You're going to be cutting little snips up here. So let me cut a few and I'll show you. And just try not to cut all the way through. You see what I'm doing? Drats. Okay, well I did it. It's okay. I'll show you how to fix that. Sometimes that happens. See, people hopping on. We're making the cutest little felt eyeglass pouch. And speaking of pouches, earlier this week I made these. Scissor pouches using, this is canvas duck cloth with a little bit of quilt batting inside, hot glue, some lace, and a button. So I must be on a little bit of a pouch kick lately. Okay, so let's glue this together now that my glue is reasonably hot, and then we'll come back to the flowers. Like I said, I'm going to start out by putting a little bit of hot glue down the center part where my fold will be, just to hold my pieces together. Okay, then I'm going to glue all the way around it. And I'm going to go out almost to the edge. We'll trim all this up so it looks nice and neat after we get it together. So I'm basically just gluing the inside to the outside. Melanie says she thinks she'll make one for her purse and put pins in it to find them easier. Oh my gosh, Melanie, that's a great idea. I might have to do that too. And you can, of course, do any color or, you know, a felt, and then you can stencil it in any design, in any color, but use ink, not chalk paste, to make it totally your style. So I think a pin case would be a great idea. Okay. So I have my front glued to my inside. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to fold it over. Look at how cute it's going to be. And we're going to start getting this assembled. And I have some of these little clippy things from Dollar Tree I'm going to use to hold it together. And I can see I'm definitely going to have to do a little bit of trimming to get everything to match up. But it's going to work just fine. Can you see where we're going? And then we're going to put a little flower on the bottom of it. It's going to be so cute. If you have the Victorian pattern stencil, which is this one right here, this would be fabulous. There's so many great designs. I knew I was going with a flower theme, so I wanted a stencil that had a flower design to it, and that's why I opted to do the one I chose. So another idea would be you could make this and do the inside with a print and the outside solid. It's totally up to you. This is going to be great for my glasses. They fit in there just perfect. I could have probably made it a little bit shorter. Maybe I went, well, this is about how much bigger I made it than the second one, than the first one. But, okay, so the next thing I want to do is I just want to trim off these edges that are not perfectly matched. So don't worry if it's not perfect when you first fold it, because it's going to take a little bit of time to trim it up so it looks perfectly neat. And your corners are nice and round and smooth and all that. Okay, so I will continue messing with that. But what do you guys think? Isn't it cute? Okay, so let's go back and make our little flowers that we're gonna I'm gonna add one to this rounded corner at the bottom. That's where I found that I liked it. But you could do multiple, you could do much smaller, it's totally up to you. Okay, so you're going to start with your center first, which, just to review, it's a strip of white felt that's folded and glued at this outside edge and made into a little tube. This is about 1 inch wide. Then it's a strip of the pink, which was about 1.5 inches wide, same deal. Folded, glued in a tube, and then the little snips made. And all you're going to do is just start rolling. You've got glue on the end where everything is glued together. This is where you could really get burned if you were using actual hot glue. So see, I'm just starting to roll it. Depending on how big you overall want your flower to be, how big you want the center shorter piece. You can keep rolling, stop rolling whenever you feel like it's big enough. We'll just roll up all of this. So that's what that looks like. Okay, and then I'm just gonna lay it on top of one of my little pieces of pink. And I glued it so that, gosh, and this doesn't look like it's very much bigger. Did I make this one too small? I don't know. So then I'm just gonna roll it into the glue. And on the first one, I went around 2 times. Trim off some of this hot glue that's squishing out. This one ended up shorter. And I need one more little piece to go this last little bit right here. So. You'll never be able to tell from the front. Okay, now I have 2 rows of pink going around. Whoops, oh my gosh, hang on. Going around, just get that really glued in good. So, I don't know what I did different the second go around, but this is what my first flower looked like. Can you see? And this is what the second one, they're both great. I'm going to use the first one. Okay, and all I'm going to do is just use a little bit of hot glue to tack this to the bottom corner. You could use E6000 if you were really worried about it falling off, but I didn't have that happen with the first ones that I made 5 years ago, so I'm not too worried about that. And there we go. So imagine doing this idea in your choice of felt with your all over pattern stencil first choice in whatever color Magnolia ink you like, then choosing a contrasting piece of felt for the inside, and doing this little flower. And I really do think it's much better in ink and safer in ink than in chalk paste, but this is the result. So tell me in the comments what you think. Do this or this. I see lots of hearts coming up. I will get pictures. Don't hesitate to ask questions. I'll get some links prepared. I can't really link you to any felt, but felt is readily available. You can buy it at any craft store. You can buy it online. You just want to have a reasonably decent quality. But I can link you to the all over pattern stencils, and I can link you also to the Magnolia ink. So I will do that. Don't hesitate to ask questions. Thanks for joining me. I hope that you have a blessed and wonderful rest of your day. And if you decide to make one of these little eyeglass pouches or cases, I would definitely love to see what you come up with. And if you're like Melanie and you make a case for your pins to ride in your purse or anything else, I want to see that too.